So hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel, and for today's video we are going to discuss about sorting algorithm. Mainly it's two types, the selection sort and the merge sort. So first and foremost, we have import java.util.array so that we can use this import and we can sort the unsorted elements, and import java.util scanner so that we can utilize the scanner that we made in our program. So first thing, the program will read to our main method. This is our main method, and we have here scanner, which is name of Marian V equals new scanner system.in. Then the next is system.out.print, enter size of array. That is why this line of output is printed. Then we have array size variable declared an integer type, where our inputted and size of our array is stored. And this is also the scanner that would allow user to input data. So I have, for my size of my array, inputted 4. Then next, system.out.print, enter array size and sorted elements. So this is to print the text inside parentheses. That is why this line of our output is printed. And calling the variable array size, which is 4, that is why the 4 is also printed. And then the program will proceed to for loop. This is to let the user input the elements according to the size of the array she or he inputted. And for my case, I will 9, 7, 22. There. We have, then the next program will read to the selection sort, which is the calling the method of selection sort with the parameters of sorting array, where our inputted elements is stored. Then the program will jump to the selection sort method, where it is also parameter list, where our elements from sorting array will be passed from there to here. Then the program will read the code inside our selection sort method. Then first, the program will read through our for loop. Int I is equals to 0, so I is equals to 0 is less than r.length minus 1. R.length is the length of our array, which is 4, then minus 1, so it's 3. Then the condition would be 0 is less than 3 is true. Then the program will proceed to the next code, declaration of index variable, and initialized to the value of I, which is 0. Then proceed to the inner for loop, where j is equals I plus 1, and the I is equals to 0, then 0 plus 1, so the value of our j is 1. Then proceed to condition. J is less than 3, so obviously true, since our j is 1. Then proceed to the if statement. If r index j is less than r index, where our r index j is 1 and our r index is 0. Then the value of our r index 1 is 9, and the value of our r index 0 is 14. So the condition would be 9 is less than 14, so obviously it's true. Then the program will proceed to read the code inside if statement, which is the index equals to j, since j has value of 1, then the index is also 1. Then proceed to incrementation of our inner for loop. Then the j from 1 would become 2. So again, condition 2 is less than 3, obviously answer is true. Then proceed to if statement. If r index j, which is 2, is less than to r index, which is still index 0. So our index 2 has value of 7, and our index 0 has value of 14. So the condition would be 7 is less than 14, so obviously it's true. Then the condition again will read to the next code inside if statement where index is equals to j, and since j has value of 2, then our index now is 2. Then proceed to inner for loop, and the value of j will be incremented from 2 the value of j is 3. Then condition 3 is less than 3 obviously is false. Then the inner for loop will exit, then the program will read to the next code here. We have here int smaller number variable which is equals to our index, which is value of index 2. Then our value of our index 2 is 7. The value of our index 2 is 7, then our index 2 is equals to our index I. The value of our I is index 0, then our index 2 is equals to index 0. Then the value of 7 is moved to the index 0. Then our index 0 would become the smaller number. Then our initial array would be 7, 14, 9, and 22. Then the program will proceed to read the for loop which we will increment the value of I, so from 0 to 1. Then condition 1 is less than 3 is obviously true. Then index is equals to I, which is also 1. Then proceed to for loop, inner for loop, j is equals I plus 1. Our I is 2. Our I is 1 plus 1, so the value of our j is 2. Then condition 2 is less than 3 is true. Then we'll proceed to if statement. R j index 2 is less than R index 1. So the value of our R index 2 is now the 9, since the 7 is moved to the index 0, then less than to our array index 1, which is 14. So 9 is less than 14. Well, obviously it answers true. Then proceed to the next code, which is index is equals to j, where j is equals to 2, so our index has value of 2. Then we will proceed to the next code, which is the incrementing of the inner for loop. So j from 1, so j from 2 would become 3, so 3 less than 3 is obviously false. Then the inner for loop will exit and proceed to the next code here. Then smaller number is equals to array index, and our index is 2. Then array index 2 has value of 14. Then array index I, which is in index 0, has value of 7. So array index I, which is 7, is equals to the smaller number. So the value of our index 0 is 7, then it would be the first value, sorted value in our elements. So the program will read to the for loop, then the incrementation of the for loop, then from 1 to 2, so 2 less than 3 is equals to true. Then index is equals to I, our index is 2. Then j is equals to I plus 1, error I is 2, error then plus 1, then j is equals to 3. Then condition 3 is less than 3, it obviously answers false. Then the inner for loop will exit and proceed to the next code. So our smaller number is equals to R index, which is index 2. Then R index 2 is equals to R index I. If our R index I is 9, so the value 9 will stay put to the value of index 2. Then array index I would be the smaller number. So our new smaller number right now is the index 2 value of 9. Then since we put the 7 to the first value and the 9 would be the index 1, so the 14 is now in index 2 and the value 22 is in index 3. That's why the sorted output is printed 7, 9, 14, 22. Basically, the concept of the selection sort is to find the smaller number of the elements, then compare it to the value, and then if it is less than to the compared value, then the number is mo swap siya sa ilahang index. And then it is arranged in sorted manner. The program will be back to our main method. Then we will, which is the calling of the another sort, which is the merge sort, which is 3 parameters, sorting array 0, sorting array that length minus 1. So the program will jump to the merge sort after calling that method. Then the sorting array, then the value of the sorting array will pass to the int array parameter, and the value 0 in the merge sort will pass to the int left variable, and the sorting array that length minus 1 will pass to the int right. So next, the program will read all the code inside our merge sort method. Then if left is less than right, our left is equals to 0 and our right is equals to 3, then obviously the condition is 0 is less than 3 is true. Then we find the mid of our inputted array. Then mid is equals to left plus right, left equals to 0, right is equals to 3, then 0 plus 3 is equals to 3, then divided by 2, which is 1.5, or consider as 1. So our mid right now has a value of 1. If we try to look at our output, the value of 9 is in our index 1, so this is the mid of our array. Then we'll proceed to merge sort, which is the recursion of the method. So calling the method itself, so we have different parameters, but the two parameters is the same. Array, which is the value of the inputted elements, left is still the value of 0, while right is the value of mid, which is 1. Then the code will be back again to the merge sort method, then proceed to if statement. Left is less than right, where left is 0 and right is 1, so 0 less than 1 is obviously true. Then we must find again the mid. So the mid, left plus right, left equals to 0 and right is 1, so 0 plus 1 is equals 1, then divided by 2 is 0.5, or consider as 0. So our mid right now is an index 0. So as you can see, if our output 14 is in index 0, so that is our new mid. And before I forgot, if you ever have wondered the process of finding the mid, because the concept of the merge sort is dividing our elements into halves until elements will not be divided anymore. That is why from mid 1, so the 14 and 9 is divided, and the another elements is 722 is also divided. So from then the mid 0, which is 14, so the 14 and 9 is also divided. Then we'll proceed to merge sort again, where array is also our value of our inputted elements. Left is still 0 and mid is equals to 0. Then we'll be back again to our merge sort method. So left is equals to right, where left is 0 and right is equals to 0. Then obviously this statement answers false. Then our first merge sort recursion will exit. We'll proceed to our merge sort recursion. Then array has the all inputted elements, and mid, the value of our current mid earlier is 0, then plus 1, so it's obviously 1. So our left here is 1, then our right is still 3. Then condition, then proceed to if condition. Left is less than right, where left is 1, then right is 3. Well, obviously it's true. Then proceed to the next code, which is to find the mid of the element. Left plus right is divided by 2, where left is 1 and right is 3. 1 plus 3 is equals to 4. Then divided by 2. So our mid right now has value of 2. Then again, we will read to our merge sort recursion, which is also parameters of array. Left, so our left is 0, then our right is 2. So 0 is less than 2. Well, obviously it's true. Then we'll proceed to find again the another half. Then mid equals left plus 1, left plus right, 0 plus 2. So which is obviously 2, then 2 divided by 2, which is 1. So then we will proceed to our next merge sort recursion. So array mid plus 1 is equal and right, then all the value of the parameters merge sort will be passed to the parameters in our merge sort method. Then left is less than right, where left is 3 and right is 3. So that is the time the condition will answers false, and the second merge sort recursion will be exit. So from the code here, we able to divide one by one the elements that we had inputted. So 49, 7, and 22. And then we will proceed to our merge method, which is 4 parameters: array, left, mid, and right. So our array has also the inputted elements, and left is 0, mid is 2, and right is 3. So the program will jump to our merge method here. All the value of the parameters of the merge below will be passed to our parameters in our merge method. Then we have here int n1 equals q minus p plus 1, and int n2 equals r minus q. So this code is to find the size or the equal halves of our array elements. So our P has value of left, which is 0. So our Q, which has value of mid, which is 1, and our R, which has value of 3. So Q is 1 minus P, which is 0. So 1 minus 0 equals 1. Then plus 1 is equals to 2. Then the value for N1 is 2. Then R is equals to 3 and Q is equals to 1. Then the value of our N2 is also 2. Then we had divided our array elements again into two halves, where the first elements is where the first array has 2 elements and the second array has also 2 elements, since we inputted 4 elements. And then the program will proceed to the next code, which is the declaration of our subarrays. So this is our subarrays for the left part, the first and the second element. So and this size is equal to n1, which is value of 2, and the second is the subarray of our right part of our elements, where the n2, which has value of 2, is its size. So our left part of the array has 2 elements, as well as the right part of our subarray also has 2 elements. Then the program will proceed to the for loop. Int I is equals to 0, so I is 0, then n is 2, so the condition would be 0 less than 2 is true. Then the condition will read the code inside for loop, where L index I is equals to array P plus 1. So I, the value for our I is 0, so this is the index 0. Then it is equal to our main array index 0 also, because P is 0 plus I, which is also 0, so 0. So our first element in our subarray L is equals to the first element in our main array. Then again, the program will read to the for loop, then the I will be incremented from 0, it would become 1. So condition 1 is less than 2, so obviously it's true. Then we'll proceed again to the next code. Then L index I, which is 1, is equals to array P plus 1. So since P is 0 and our I is value of 1, then this is also array index 1. So our subarray index 1 is also equals to our main array index 1. So again, we'll proceed to the for loop and incrementation of the variable I from 1 to 2. So 2 less than 2, obviously false. Then the first for loop will exit and we will proceed to the next for loop. Int j is equals to 0, so j is 0 and n2 is 2. So condition would be 0 is less than 2, obviously true. Then the program will proceed to read the condition, the code inside for loop, which is M is the right part of our subarray elements, is index j is equals to array Q plus 1 plus j. So our subarray index j is equals to index 0. So this is the right part of our elements. Is equals to array Q. Q is 1 plus 1, so it's 2, and plus j is equals 0. So our main array is index 2. So as you can remember, we divided into halves the elements that we inputted. So that is why the right part of the subarray M index 0 is in the main array index 2, which is the 7. So now, the program will be back again to read the for loop. So now the program will be read again the for loop and increment the value of j. So from 0, the value of j would become 1, then 1 is less than 2, well obviously it's true, then proceed to read the next code inside for loop, which is m index j, which is 1, is equals to array q plus 1 plus j. So our m index j is value of 1, q is 1 plus 1 equals to 2, then plus j, which is value of 1, so that would be index 3. So our subarray m index 1, it is in the index of our main array index 3, which is the 22. So obviously, this is our right part of our elements, and this is our left part of our elements. Then again, proceed to incrementation of the for loop. So j would become 2, then condition 2 is less than 2, well obviously it's false. Then the for loop will exit. Then the program will proceed to read the code next, where we declare the variable int I, j, and k in an integer type, and we initialize variable I and j as 0, and variable k is equals to p, which is also considered to 0, since p has a value of 0. Then proceed to our while loop. So, while this condition answers true, then the code inside while loop will be executed. To shorten the discussion, this while loop is to merge the inputted elements. This while loop is to merge in a sorted manner the unsorted elements that we inputted. So if condition answers true, then this block of code will be executed. Otherwise, the else condition would be executed and will proceed to k++. So that is why, and this is the reason why we sorted elements. Then after, we will proceed to the second while loop. This while loop is only to copy the elements that is remaining in our left part of the array. If there is none, so no need to, so this code will not be executed, and as well as the second while loop is also to copy the remaining elements on the right part of our array. As you can see, M array is our right part of the elements, and the L subarray is our left part of our elements. Then again, since we had sorted the elements that we had inputted using this while loop, then the program will be back to our main method, which is to print the system.out print sorted elements using merge sort. That is why this line of our output is printed. And system.out print array to string sorting array. So this code is to print the sorted elements in a merge sort manner. The output of the sorted elements is, in a selection sort, is 7, 9, 14, 22, and the sorted elements using merge sort is 7, 9, 14, 22. So that would be all, guys. Thank you for listening and watching.